Number 10, worksheet 3. If P is the size of a population, which of the following differential equation describes linear growth in the size of the population? So linear growth looks like that. Now, some of you picked B or D because that does look like a line or like a slope kind of thing on the right-hand side. The trouble is the slope, you know what, let's back up to here. What kind of slope is this? That's the word I'm looking for. Positive. It's not changing though, it's a constant slope. Linear growth means you have a constant slope. So slope equals 200, slope equals 200t, slope equals 200t squared, definitely not. Slope equals 200p. So which one of those options is a constant slope? Which one? A. A is a constant slope. So that's worded really weird because your brain sees linear, you know what linear looks like, so you're thinking mx plus b. So most of you picked either B or D because that looks like a line. The trouble is it's not y equals mx plus b, it's slope equals something, so you need the slope to be a constant.
Is it because like the derivative is like the slope?
Yes, because derivative and slope, we can use those interchangeably basically. Alright, I think 11 is a little more straightforward, so somebody tell me what you got for 11. D. Proportional to the square root of the volume. So throw out the ones with time. That would be 1 over the square root of the volume. So yeah, it's D. Number 12 isn't difficult. You just got to read it carefully and look at your answer choices. They all have x plus 2y, but the derivative things are different. So I got to be real careful about what my derivative is. Rectangle has length x, width y, area a. The instantaneous rate of change of the area with respect to the width. Area with respect to the width. And those are changing, so change in area over change in width. Area is a, width is y, so whatever it is, it needs to be dA dy equals something. In fact, there's my answer. So that really wasn't about what's it proportional to. That's what we're used to looking at. This was how do you interpret this as a derivative. Be careful which one of those ones you picked. But it looked like most of you got that one right. Ian.
How do you know when you have k in the equation? So not k.
So this one said is equal to rather than is proportional to. So proportional to would have put a k in there. Equal to means you didn't need a k. It's rare that you would say equal to. Usually we put a proportional to because that makes it an algebra problem where you got to find k. This would be an easier problem to solve. Well, not really because there's too many variables there. But the equal to is easier than proportional to because proportional to sticks a k in there. Equal to means you don't need a k, it's just equals. 13. A lot of words. Population of a certain species is given by a differentiable function p, where p is the number of insects, t is days. When the conditions are right, here we go. The population increases, that's dp dt, or with respect to time, so that's dp dt, at a rate that is proportional, so there's our k stuff in there. So dp dt is k times the population, so k times p. So already I can throw out these key answers. It's k times p, k times p. So now I'm trying to figure out is k 1/5 or is k 5. Starting August 15th, the conditions were favorable and the population began increasing. on August 25th, 5 days later, so that means T is 5, if that matters. There were an estimated 10 million insects, so P was 10, and the population was increasing at a rate, so that's dP dt, of 2. Which of the following models this situation? Okay, well, if P is 10 and dP dt is 2, then it's got to be this one. 1/5 of 10 would give me 2, as opposed to 5 times 10 would be 50. This T equals 5, that didn't matter. That was just extra information, maybe to try to sucker you into picking D. So I feel like 13 should be easy to get to a 50-50, and then it takes a little more to get to the right answer. And I feel like that happens a lot on the AP test. And again, if your goal is to get 45% of them right, well, hopefully you get half of them right just straight up on your own. And then you hit something like this, and if you get 10 of these questions and you narrow them down to 50-50, well, that's 5 more questions you got right just because you knew half the problem. And maybe that's enough to bump you from a 3 to a 4 or a 4 to a 5. So even if you aren't sure, carefully read all the questions and see if you can, throw out some of the worst guesses. 14. The rate at which a quantity M, a certain radioactive substance, decays, that's kind of a key word in this problem, is proportional to the amount of substance at a given time. So that means dm dt equals K times M. So I don't need the T business in there, that's out. So A and C are out. So now I'm down to B and D. One's negative and one's positive. Well, this one would say my slope is negative. This one says my slope is positive. Which one of those would be a decay? A negative slope. So answer B. Again, that's a quick one to narrow down to 2 choices, and then it takes a little bit more thought to get it all the way down to the correct choice.